This is the Tyler Morgan Show on RelentlessDairy.com. Welcome back to the land of bourbon and bad decisions. This is the Tyler Morgan Show live on twitch.tv/Tyler Morgan Show or youtube.com/at the Tyler Morgan Show. I'm also live streaming over there, or just check this out on the podcast, whichever place you prefer to check your podcast out. Apple, Spotify, pretty much anything Amazon touches. So Kindle, Audible, Amazon Music. Yeah, all that good stuff. Ooh, pardon me. A little stuff hung up in the throat there. Be sure to subscribe, like, follow, share on whatever platform that you like to watch this on. Glad to have you hanging out. I know it's been really kind of crazy lately trying to get sat down to do shows, but c'est la vie and all that stuff. But before I get into everything I'm going to get into, let me tell you about coffee. Yes, that's right. My favorite coffee in the world comes from American Pride Roasters, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. If you're checking this out on video, it's not mirrored. I have to go make sure I point to the right shoulder. Be sure to hit that QR code in the corner, scan it, go check out their amazing lineup of coffees. As I've said many times, I am a coffee-flavored coffee guy, but I have really just fallen in love with the peanut butter and chocolate edition of the George Washington Carver, which, I mean, coarse grind, let it sit in scalding hot water for 5 minutes inside of a French press, and absolutely amazing. I've never been a flavored coffee guy. Absolutely love it. Check them out today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Historically great coffee. All right. So getting into the stupid of the past week. And it really is stupid. And if you haven't noticed from the title of this episode, they're stacking bodies again. If you are not aware, because you've been living under a rock and only get your news from me, please find somewhere else to get your news. I'm not the greatest news guy in the world. I report the best as I can based on other people's reporting. So, that being said, earlier this week, there was the mass shooting in Bondi Beach in Australia, followed shortly by the shooting at Brown University, and then the senseless murder of an MIT professor shooting at Brown University, followed by the MIT professor in Boston. And as always, whenever there's a national tragedy, the buzzards come out to feast on the dead. You get the hardcore nuts who do not believe in the Constitution. Well, they believe in the Constitution just so long as it's the parts of the Constitution that they like. We want free speech, but you can't say that. It's going to get you in trouble. You should go to jail for that meme. It's ridiculous. And in this case, it is over guns because, oh my God, mass shooting. And this is not to downplay mass shootings. I would never do that. They are horrible, tragic events. And while it sucks that they happen, it sucks that there are individuals who are these nihilistic, performative suicide sons of PG-13, PG-13, PG-13. While you have these people who, for some reason, they loathe themselves to the point where not only are they suicidal, they're going to take as many people with them as possible. And again, that's what happened with the Brown University shooting and the MIT professor. This 48-year-old Portuguese fat tub of lard, whose name I am not going to say, because ultimately, whether they decide to just eat the bullet themselves or suicide by cop, ultimately what they want is to be famous. The same with the John Hinckleys, the Mark David Chapmans of the world. That's all they care about. John Hinckley did not give two flying craps about Ronald Reagan. He wanted to be famous, and he wanted to do this big, extraordinary gesture to win the heart of Jodie Foster. That's all he cared about. He didn't care one whit about the politics of Ronald Reagan. And that's all they want. They want the notoriety because they think it makes them a big man. I'm going to be remembered. You're going to be remembered, all right. You're going to be remembered as a person who caused more hate, grief, sadness than anything else. Yet, these assholes persist. And the bad thing is, they will do everything they can to take advantage of our rights to be able to spread this harm and hate to other people. And it doesn't matter if it's guns. Yeah, guns are an effective and efficient way to bring destruction. Relatively easy. I'm going to use relatively because unless you can't pass a background check and have to go to a person who knows a guy to be able to get one for double the price because, hey, big risk demands a big return. If you can pass background check, you can get a gun. It's that easy. The guys in Australia, the father and son who shot up Bondi Beach, which that has all sorts of ramifications because they've already voted to give away their gun rights after a mass shooting. That now they're just like, oh, we didn't do enough gun buyback. Why do people in the suburbs have 6 guns? Oh my God. I don't know, because maybe just crazy idea. Where you live should not have any bearing on how many guns you want to own if you are not planning on doing anything illegal with the guns that you own. Pardon me. Around the corner from where my desk sits, I have a gun safe. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guns in the safe. Yeah, I know. I had to count. I just don't know it off the top of my head. I had 3 pistols, rifle, shotgun, AR. They're in the safe. I have got 6 guns. And I will tell you exactly on one hand how many people I have killed with any of those 6 guns? 0. Why? Because I'm not a freaking criminal. Yet you have these gun grabbers who will stack the bodies of those killed in Australia, those killed at Brown University, those killed in every mass shooting, which a lot of these mass shootings that they count as mass shootings are gang related activity. This is one gang walking up on another gang and pop, 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 pop. Do they kill a bunch of people every time? No. Do they wound several? Usually, because they're shooting blindly into a crowd. But they don't ever say that because they just want the stat of mass shooting. So it's like with Everytown, and they're quoting the number of school shootings. See, when you say school shooting, the majority of Americans think what happened at Brown University, what happened at Parkland, what happened in Uvalde. It's sad that these are places that we can name, but that's what people think of. They think of a mass casualty event. But what they count on that list of the however many school shootings every year, the suicides. Yes, that's right. This is a couple years ago it was included. A guy who had lost his job as a teacher drove onto a defunct school property, so it still belonged to the school district. It was defunct. It was at night, no one there, and then he offed himself. They counted that as a school shooting. They counted a student taking a gun into the school restroom and self-deleting as a school shooting. They counted someone shooting out the windows of school buses with a BB gun after hours. No children on the bus. The buses are parked for the night. They counted that as a school shooting. They count things like in high crime areas when there's some sort of interpersonal conflict that results to gunplay and a stray bullet hits the building. They count that as a school shooting. No one hurt, no one injured. No one hurt, no one killed. No one being specifically targeted at the school, and they count it as a school shooting. They prop these numbers up to make you go, oh my God, there's been that many school shootings. Oh, we need to do something about the guns. Oh. And Gabby Giffords and Mark Kelly are two of the worst. I will gladly say it. And I feel badly for Gabby Giffords because of what she went through during a political rally. A schizophrenic guy with paranoid delusions about people from the government who had a gun on him saw a political rally with someone from the government and he opened fire. Now they say, oh, this is a political attack. No, it was not a political attack per se. Because if it had been a Republican, he probably would have shot that group too. But it was Gabby Giffords. And these things are tragic. They're horrible. I wish they didn't happen. Unfortunately, that is one of the issues that you have in a free society. People who are able to get a gun, either through legal or illegal means, will obtain one, and they will do destructive things with the guns. Whether it is a school shooting, whether it is an interpersonal conflict homicide, you name it, an armed robbery that goes bad. Gun deaths will happen in a free society. If I may paraphrase one, you ever have your brain just stop? Mid-sentence, your brain just Benjamin Franklin. There. It rebooted. I'm good to go. Yay. I may paraphrase Mr. Benjamin Franklin. Many will sacrifice. Oh no, I don't even think I'm right, even right on the paraphrase. If you are willing to sacrifice dangerous freedom for security, you deserve neither. I'm sorry, life is dangerous. Every day I get on the road and drive to work, guess what? There's a chance that I could get killed by a semi driver falling asleep on the interstate and smash. But do I sit at home and cower because that could happen? No. Earlier this year, I got smashed between my yard truck and a trailer where I work my full-time job. By the sheer grace of God, my 2-foot wide frame squished into a 9-inch wide gap, and the truck bounced forward, and I was not seriously harmed. Am I scared to park my truck on an incline in front of a trailer when I have to go out the back of it onto the catwalk? No. Am I more cognizant that the park brake is actually set and is not going to start rolling on me when I step out the door of that truck? Absolutely. Because I don't need to be regulated because I can regulate myself. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people out there who are completely incapable of self-regulation. Those are the criminals who do not give a rat's ass about your safety, their safety, that guy's safety over there. They cannot be regulated. They will not be regulated. Hell, they probably already have a felony conviction and cannot legally purchase, own, or possess a firearm. Yet they're committing gun crimes. Oh, because they don't care about the law. Murder is illegal. I don't know if you realize this in this nation. Murder is against the law. And wait, just it being against the law, that should stop all the school shootings, right? I mean, it's against the law. And that's what they say. Well, if we just take the guns, these things won't happen. Really? Because way back in 1999, that Klebold Harris kid from Columbine High School in Colorado. Last I checked, they were not old enough to purchase the Hi-Point carbines that they use in their shootings. But wait, I thought preventing underage sales would stop stuff like that from happening. Theoretically, but if you want a gun to commit a crime, there are ways that you can go about doing it that are still illegal as sin, and it draws more people into your crime, but it can be done. In the Harrison Klebold case, they got their guns through someone who was 18 performing what is known as a straw purchase. And like I said, I get it. These things are scary. But the first reaction shouldn't be punish law-abiding citizens by taking their property. Civil asset forfeiture alone is bad enough. Why do we need to give the government any more power to strip property from citizens without due process? Period. End of story. That's what all of this comes down to, is how can we further exert control over the proletariat? And these are people who love the proletariat. I mean, you have these, Kami Mamdani, AOC, the rest of the squad. They are so proletariat that they have no issues with squeezing them a little bit tighter. Sure, they will give them more stuff. We care about the proletariat. So we want to give you more handouts, make you more dependent on the government, but there's going to come a price. And that price is we're going to take rights from you. That way we can hold the stuff we give you over your head as a form of control. Yeah, kind of like the Soviet Constitution did, because they didn't have negative liberties, they had positive liberties, things the government had to do. But the government being, communists being communists, they know better than to just be like, yeah, we have to do this. They're going to make it conditional to keep control over the proletariat that they so strongly fought for. We're doing this for you. We're doing this for you, proletariat. We're just going to beat you into submission. That way you can have what we think you should have. We're going to, by force, take from those who have the ability and give it to those who don't. It's an abusive relationship that we have with government. It is an abusive relationship that especially the power hungry big government on both sides, left and right, they're both the same way. Sure, they could throw you a bone, but they're going to make it conditional. And as long as they have control, you have the neocons on the right, you have the worst of the worst commie liberal scum on the left, that all they care about is control. And every time there's a horrible, tragic incident like this, that's all they ever see is a way to put their freaking grip around your throat and squeeze it a little tighter. They give absolutely zero craps about any of the victims. They don't. Sure, they talk a big game, but really all they care about is how high can I stack the bodies when I build my soapbox out of them. That's it. They don't care. Just like Mark Kelly and Jason Crow and all these other goobers in the Senate and Congress who did their stupid video a few weeks ago. I never had a chance to talk about it. They did their stupid, retarded video. And in that video, talk about you do not have to follow illegal orders. Yes, that is a true statement. But the problem is, in the video, you insinuate, in fact, I think one actually says Donald Trump used, oh no, that was the National Guardsman running for Congress, Captain Dylan Blaha, who threw his rank out there. That's not a smart move, good sir. Calling Donald Trump sending National Guard to Portland an illegal order and calling him a fascist. My question is, why hasn't the Illinois National Guard brought him up on UCMJ action for clearly violating his oath of office and violating the Uniform Code of Military Justice with his, by calling Donald Trump a fascist? I mean, it's been done before. 1965, 1966, somewhere in that ballpark during the whole Vietnam War era, when an Army lieutenant called LBJ a fascist. He went to prison for like 2 years. They said in the video of the seditious six that, we will have your back. Really? 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 You really gonna have their backs? Captain Kelly? Captain Crow, are you going to have their backs? Because you're not. What's going to happen is you idiots are going to fuel doubt in soldiers receiving perfectly legal orders. And then when they go, I don't think that order's legal, sir. I'm not going to follow it. And then they get brought up on UCMJ for disobeying a lawful order. They go to court martial. Well, what made you? They do the use the 15-6 investigation, the Army Regulation 15-6 investigation. For those of you who don't follow along with the Army talk, they do the 15-6. They say, well, he refused to obey this order. Well, this order came from battalion, which came from brigade, and here's the legal review that was submitted with the brigade JAG, showing that it was perfectly legal. Then it was sent down to the battalion, and then it was sent down to our company, and we gave it to this platoon. That PL gave the order he refused to follow. So what happens to that soldier when he's brought up under UCMJ charges? Senator Kelly, what happens to him? Are you going to go speak at his jury trial or at his general court martial on, defending his actions? Because you gave the impression that Donald Trump is already issuing illegal orders, good sir. Are you going to literally have the backs? Because you have no command influence on what's going to happen with this soldier, with that Marine over there, that sailor. You have no control. You have no ability to defend them because you're the dumbass who put it in their head that they've already been receiving illegal orders, and so they should question everything, and anything that they are not sure on, just not do it because I just following orders is not defense. This buffoonery cannot stand. And then you end this whole video with the phrase, don't give up the ship. See, let's look at the historical context of don't give up the ship. Don't give up the ship was, I forget the admiral's name who said it, but the War of 1812, his ship is going down and he tells his sailors, do not give this thing up to the British. You're saying don't give up the ship to the rightful commander-in-chief. Now, if you're telling sailors to not let the commander-in-chief command their vessel, man, what was that called? What was that called back in the day when, sailors didn't like the captain for whatever reason? Whether they thought this route he's navigating is retarded and it's going to get us killed, or this is an abusive prick and we're tired of sailing under him. And so they remove him from command and they do it on their own. They refuse to follow the orders of the commander of that vessel. Mutiny. I think that's what it's called. Mutiny. Oh, mutiny. Oh, mutiny. Hey, you know what happens to a soldier who's convicted of mutiny or other forms of sedition? 10 years in prison. If it's during wartime. Are you really willing, Captain Kelly, to have soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, coasties and guardians alike, refuse an order that may or may not be illegal, and more than likely is 100% legal after having gone through multiple layers of legal review? You really going to tell them to risk prison time with a political stunt? You arrogant son of a bitch. Yeah, I know. PG-13. Yeah. But oh my gosh, I cannot pick up my phone. Oh man, that's other stories going on here. Do. Oh, yes. That's right. Also, earlier this evening, the first batch of the Epstein files following the act of Congress have been released. Lots of pictures of Slick Willie in the pool with Ghislaine Maxwell and old Jeffy E. and lots of women. I can't tell their age, but their faces are covered up. So these are either potential victims, verified victims, or third parties that, they're sparing from. Oh my God, that person was in Epstein's Island in the pool with Jeffrey and Ghislaine and Bill. I mean, as was stated, there's going to be a lot of people who went to that island who did absolutely nothing wrong. They went there for a business retreat. They went there for whatever reason, but Kitty Diddling was not on their agenda. There's the lady who said that, Alan Dershowitz went to Epstein Island and he did horrible things to her. Jeffrey Epstein, or not Jeffrey Epstein, and the Dersh came out and said, yes, I did go. Yes, I did get a massage. But you know what they're not telling you? Is that my wife was there with me. And my wife isn't going to do anything untoward to a masseuse. Now, if that masseuse was underage, being a victim of labor trafficking and potentially sex trafficking, yeah, that's not good. But if you're an innocent bystander, you shouldn't be catching strays because of Epstein or anybody else there. And so a lot of people are mad. There's a lot of redactions. Oh my gosh, so much redactions. They ran out of Sharpies while trying to get that thing ready for publication. But Yeah, so they're out there. They're floating around. You can find them. Like I said, a friend of mine on Discord was sharing all these Bill Clinton pictures. But yeah, it's happening. But oh my gosh, Ro Khanna. I know Ro Khanna was a big sponsor of the Epstein Files bills with Thomas Massey. I get it, but because they're batching it, because there's a lot of files there to release, so they're doing it in batches. If this isn't done by midnight tonight, I'll have Pam Bondi Pam Bondi in jail. No, you're not. Now, you could theoretically get Congress to vote. Is she in contempt of Congress for not releasing these when by the deadline, completely and fully? You could. Good luck getting the DOJ to prosecute the Attorney General. But I think more than likely, if, and this is a big if, Congress were to say, no, she's in contempt of Congress, and they vote, they pass the resolution that she's in contempt of Congress, and you send it to the FBI to recommend, or to DOJ to recommend as a criminal referral. I don't think many judges are, even on the far left activist side of them, are going to come out and say, yeah, this is a blatant act. I think they're going to look at it and go, holy crap, that stack of paper was a foot tall. Yeah, putting these out in batches is probably the best thing. That way DOJ can make sure that everything is fully redacted where it needs to be, and the information that is relevant and is public knowledge and can be released as public knowledge is done in a smart manner. So yeah, Ro Khanna, calm down. Just calm down. No need to get your panties in a bunch. I don't think it's going to go anywhere anyways. All righty. So it is December the 19th. We are 7 days away. Well, 6 days away from Christmas. And I don't know if I'm going to have another show come out before New Year's. That's between when I have the availability to do a show and when I have the and just also being Christmas, and you don't want to get wrapped up with stuff, during the holidays. So, oh man, again, it's another year, and I feel like I've gone backwards some this year with my availability and being able to put out episodes every week, but at the same time, we have good stuff going. My wife, God bless her, she started off with wanting to make a wristlet with silicone beads, she could, pop her hand through, have her keys hang off of it. She wanted one, and she thought the people selling them at events around here was way too high. So she said, I could probably do that for less money. Yes, she could. Yes, I did. And then somebody else wanted one. And then someone said, hey, could you get those pins that you put the silicone beads and stuff on? And so it started off as I'm going to do this for me, turned into a yeah, onesies and twosies out here and there, which turned into craft fairs, which turned into a booth at a flea market and more craft fairs. And then at a craft fair, a representative uh from the Post Exchange was coming through looking for vendors who could possibly sell on post. And she came by and she looked at her stuff and she saw something in what my wife and I were selling that we didn't see. She saw a huge demand where we're just like, these are tchotchkes. People buy them randomly, get something cute for the kids or whatever. But she saw something in us and in what we were doing. And she said, apply. We would have never thought to do this on our own. And this was in uh fall of 2024. So then we started setting up on post every other weekend. Then it turned to every weekend. Then when the school year ended, my wife decided that, hey, I'm going to set up for the summer and see how it goes full time, 5 days a week. And she absolutely loved it. Sure, there are days where business is like, oh my God, I'll pull my hair out. There's so many people here. But it's a good problem to have when you have a small business that's starting off. Then, as the summer came to an end, she's like, I just want to do this. She left her job at the school to do that full time. And we've just continued growing. And yet, while the podcast is kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit because we have so much going on with her business and it taking off, you know what? Those Saturday nights where I'm just too freaking exhausted to do the show, dude, they are so worth it to see what she didn't even think was a dream come true. And it has been so good for us that, it's something that we have built together. As opposed to this is all me and the awesome listeners. And hi, Kim. Merry Christmas to you too. Y'all have made this. I don't know what it is, but y'all made this. It's me yakking at the microphone, just let my teeth bump together. It is, but y'all give me someone to vent to. And yeah, I don't even have the shoestring budget anymore. I am, you know, yeah, or no, the rotted baling twine metaphor that I used forever. I'm not even on that anymore. I don't make any money off this. This is more of a hobby than what my wife's thing started off as. So, but hey, we've had some laughs. And in 2026, we'll have some more laughs. I will have more unhinged rants. And I will share my opinions over whiskey in the future. Yeah, I love doing this. I've met great people uh, who work in the actual radio industry, TV industry. Yeah, yeah. I have friends at the Blaze and other places online that if they give me encouragement. They if they have if I want to have them come on and they have the time and I can work out in my schedule to get with them, they'll come on here. And, it's great. This is something years ago I never thought I'd be doing. And sure, I'm not doing this to, you know, make all the money in the world. Lord knows that I've made exactly negative $3,000 over the last 5, 6 years. Holy cow! It's coming up on. It's been 6 years, I believe. 2019. So yeah, it's been awesome. And I look forward to coming back after first of the year. If I'm not able to do another show between now and then, to sit here, drink whiskey, bitch about the world, and yeah, be able, I said, laugh it up. That's all I've wanted to do with this is make fun of what's going on in the world. I know I spend a lot more time kvetching than I do mocking, but catharsis is good. And thank you. Thank you for being that outlet that I can, you know, share with people who care. I share with my wife, but politics aren't her thing. And she's just going to say, yeah, yeah, So that's not it's not a good way to vent. So, oh my gosh. But I do have to share something I find funny. Before I go, earlier this week, I was groiped. I was made victim by a groiper. Actually, by lots of groipers. You see, somebody on the twatters shared a video of white supremacists going on a little stroll through downtown Little Rock, Arkansas, complaining that all they got was a traffic ticket. Presumably because after their little march, they all packed into the back of a U-Haul van and took off. And they were cited for, people riding in the back of a U-Haul van because that's unsafe. I don't recommend it. I thought that was kind of funny because the person complaining about people using their First Amendment rights to say stuff that, while is absolutely horrible and disgusting, and it's stuff that I'd never ever want to associate with my life, it is their constitutional right to say it. And me, being the forward-thinking individual that I am, I posited that maybe next time they go on a march, maybe they go through North Little Rock and things will sort themselves out. Kind of like the Bobs stopping paychecks to Milton. It'll sort itself out. Well, apparently, I became a lot of things in that moment. Of course, I really didn't realize it because I got 0 notifications on it until like one person, like 7 hours later, who thought it was hilarious that everyone was mad at me. I commented back, I'm like, must be. But then again, yours is the first notification I've gotten. So let's go read the comment, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not seeing the comments, don't go read the comments. Or they should go to the south side of Chicago. Is there a man named Leroy Brown? I believe that's where he was. The south side of Chicago was a man named Leroy Brown. The biggest, baddest man in the whole damn town, they say. But that's already been done. Nazis marching on the south side of Chicago. That's where we get the iconic line. Illinois Nazis? I hate Illinois Nazis. But, yeah. So, south side of Chicago, let's just say the demographics are really, really close to that of North Little Rock. As well as crime rates. Although Southside Chicago probably has higher crime rate, but still, I remember driving over the road and having to deliver to lumber yards and roofing companies that were situated in North Little Rock, and it says in the dispatch, no overnight parking, high crime. Emphasis not added. It's like no parking overnight, high crime, all caps. So, and me being me, screw it. Lock the doors. Don't even leave the cab of the truck. I have faith that everything will work out. But like I said, that was my suggestion. Just let Darwin do the work. You know? Let Darwin work. The things that they said about me. Apparently I'm Jewish now. Mazel tov, happy Hanukkah, Shabbat Shalom, L'chaim. And I was called an N-word lover. Oh, shoot. Incel, which that's really weird considering I've been married for 22 years and have 3 kids. I don't know how I'm being involuntarily celibate. A cuck. Yes, I was called a cuck, which is also odd. I don't keep a little chair in the corner of my bedroom. I don't know why people would want to do that. It's just odd. So what are some of the other things they called me? I believe I was called a wigger. Yeah, it's like all this anti-Jewish stuff and blah 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 blah. It's just like, come on, folks. Don't you have a sense of humor? Of all the comments that were going on, I had 2 that weren't unhinged. The first one that I saw was the dude. Man, you made them mad. And then someone else, rational tone. Excuse me, sir, are you implying that these people should fall victims to violence as a result of exercising their First Amendment right to free speech, no matter how awful that speech is? It's like, no. I'm not advocating violence for them. But I do believe in the FAFO scale on that whole grid matrix. And I believe if you're marching around and shouting obscenities and racist garbage, you are effing around at a 10. And as a result of effing around at a 10, you should find out at a 10. So that's all I was going with. And whoo, doggy. I have never been so happy for negative engagement in my life. Because if you've been listening to this show from day one, all the way back in 2019, half-hour episodes and recorded on a crappy mic and having absolutely no clue what I was doing. Okay, I take that back. 6 years later, I still don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I'm having more fun doing it. But if you've been following me for 6 years, you know I'm somewhat of a what do they call a smart ass. So I do what I do. Guy called me a cuck and you know a Jew and all this stuff. I was like, you're just mad they had your wife yell Chaim all night while you're sitting in the corner having to watch. Like I said, I don't keep a little chair in the corner of my bedroom. But oh, my wife has been dead for years. You Jews are a bunch of necrophiliacs, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, bro, calm down. Just because she lays there for you doesn't mean you have to call her a corpse. I mean, maybe you just learn how to throw the old Hebrew hammer, and you won't have to sit in the chair and watch. Oh my gosh, the unhinged rants. It was a glorious day to be a smart ass on the internet, I tell you. All right. I'm glad I went from Merry Christmas to me telling you of trolling tards on the interwebs. So I love about this show. There's no train of thought. It's just squirrels chasing kittens after butterflies, flittering around the field, finding all the different flowers. It's chaos. I love it. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for the last year. If you've been around since day one, boy, you've made some questionable life choices. I'm glad that I was one of them. Thank you so much. You have been awesome. I'm glad that we've gotten to hang out for as long as we have. I'm not quitting. Don't think I'm quitting just yet. I have at least one more year in me before I decide to just smash this really expensive road board. But then again, I think my wife would shoot me if I did that. So yeah, I'm not gonna smash that thing. That'd be dumb. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me. Y'all are awesome. And thank you again. Thank you so much. Same four things I ask every week. I'd be remiss. Oh, pardon me. I would be remiss if I did not ask that you do those four things every week, such as, you know, subscribe, follow for Apple because Apple likes to be special. So we just don't subscribe on Apple because subscribe means you're actually paying for stuff. And I don't ask for your money to listen to my stuff. I gave up the Patreon page because I don't like asking y'all for money. No, I do have links in the show notes if you would like to send money on Venmo or something and you want to donate out of the kindness of your heart. Awesome, but I'm not going to put out content that you have to pay for. I think it's dumb to paywall stuff when I'm not even making money doing it. So whatever. So, anyways, follow, subscribe, whatever your platform calls it. After that, rate it. I'm looking for 5 stars. I'll accept 4, 3 and below. Hit me up on the twatters at Fake Tyler Morgan, and you DM me. My DMs are open. You'd like to explain why you need to give me 3 stars or less? Cool. You're civil about it. I will be civil back because, hey, I want to be better. And you don't get better only getting 5-star reviews. You got to have some low ones and people telling you, hey, here's why I think it's bad. And if it's not completely unhinged, I will pay attention. I will take notes. If it is completely unhinged, I will make fun of you. I will take screenshots. I will share them on Twitter and I will have fun with it. But once you have rated or subscribed and rated, please write a review. Say something nice about the show. Don't get carried away. But your honest opinion, maybe fluff it a little. But after you have subscribed, rated, and reviewed, please share this episode or the podcast in general with your friends, family who you think will enjoy it, who you think it will drive them absolutely bonkers. For instance, this episode. Send this episode to someone who absolutely hates guns, and I lambast their the whole gun grabbing arguments that happen after every shooting. So, yeah. Use me to irritate the hell out of your friends. So, anyways, I'm again glad you've been hanging out. Glad you're listening. Glad you're watching on the YouTubes, the Twitch, and all that. It's awesome. Glad you're here. And as always, doom. Stay relentless. The Tyler Morgan Show is a Relentless Daring media production. The Tyler Morgan Show is supported by its listeners. To support the show, go to ko-fi.com/Tyler Morgan Show to donate there, or relentlessdaring.com and hit the donate button at the top of the page to set up your donation. All music used in the Tyler Morgan Show is used with permission from purpleplanet.com, link in the show notes. 2 Timothy 1:7.